Hi, Dimitri. This is Alan Cockrell with ABC, former hitting coach for the Colorado Rockies and Seattle Mariners. I'm going to go over your video this morning. And Dimitri, one of the first things I look for is as we start to get into this setup position and then moving into the load is we want to try to keep our knees inside of our feet, okay, in here, and we want to try to keep our head inside of our knees. And what this does is it just makes sure that we're under balance. So we'll move more into the load phase, moving forward. As you can see in your load, we get just a little bit of sway back, okay? And when this knee starts to move outside of this back foot, a couple different things that can happen. But one of the biggest things is we end up getting stuck on our backside and we don't transfer weight into the front leg when we start the swing. So I think this could be something I think we could clean up. When we load, we want to feel, again, we want to try to feel our weight on the inside part of this back thigh, and we want to try to keep this knee inside this back foot. Okay, we don't want it getting going back out over that back foot. All right, so we'll move forward into the load phase. Okay, the load phase, as I'm sure you have heard, get your foot down. Okay, most hitters, when their foot lands, the toe will land first, as yours does, but it's not until this back heel gets firmly planted in the ground am I in a good loaded position. Okay, now this position I'm checking a few other things. I want to have good athletic bend in both knees, equal bend in both knees if possible. All right, I want to try to keep my hips level or squared up to home plate. You're in a pretty good position there. The other thing that I look for, and it'll kind of fall into place with a lot of these other issues or things that we talked about, is the stride foot. Okay, if this stride foot opens up too much more than 45 degrees, then we're going to have some difficulty keeping our hips square, or keep it square here. Let me run this back again. Keeping our hips square and this front hip not wanting to leak out into this direction too quickly. Okay, we want to make sure if this is at 45 or less than 45, then that's going to keep us closed up a little bit longer so we can make a pretty good first move into the ball. Okay, once we get into this position, the loaded position, I would like to see your bat a little bit more at 45-degree angle. Okay, your bat is kind of, you can just see the bottom of it right in there. It's just flat, and it has a tendency to want to drag forward into the hitting zone as opposed to keeping it up here at a 45-degree angle. Okay, now we talked about the load. We want to gather energy into there. All right, now as I start the swing, my lower half is direction to the ball, and it's power through the baseball. So I'm getting direction and drive with my lower half. And the way I do that is I start my back knee, and I drive it forward into this front thigh, the inside part of this front thigh, right in that area right there. Okay, that's gonna take my weight and all my energy that I've stored up back here, and that's gonna transfer it in that front leg. Okay, so that should be my first move. My next move will be my back shoulder, my back elbow, and my back hip will all get into an alignment. That's called the connection. So the elbow will fall into this slot, into the rib cage, which is just right off your back hip. And as we get forward, we want to try to have a straight line right here. As you can see, your elbow has gotten just a little ahead of your power source, and that power source is that back hip right here. Don't want to get too far ahead of that. What I'd like to see is this elbow, shoulder, and hip in alignment. Okay, now from here, my hands, and again, this bat angle should be more up in this direction right here. But from this point, now my hands can start to work in front of my body, and they're going to get just past the center of gravity. All right, my center of gravity is basically my belly button right there. My hands are going to get just past that so that I can get good extension through the baseball. It's going to be because this back shoulder and this back elbow and this back hip, you know, we just the elbow's just a little bit ahead of our power source. So would like to try to get that more in alignment. Okay, now as we work forward into the contact position, okay, now we're starting to get, the hands are starting to work forward, but you can see your elbow is still just a little bit ahead of our hands. That elbow should be sitting more in this area, and the hands are now working in front of your body. Okay, we'll go to contact. Okay, I see some good things at contact. I see good, strong palm up, palm down with the hands. Okay, I want to see your head and eyes looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. I think it's important for you to know, Dimitri, that as soon as your head comes up and off the ball, your head and eyes come up and off the ball, then the barrel of your bat is going to follow your head and eyes. So it's important to keep our head and eyes down at contact and even past contact. Okay, we'll go into extension. Okay, we'll go into follow through, and again, just a little bit better with a weight transfer into the front side, so that we're feeling weight more into there. We're feeling weight more into the ball of this front foot. Will give us a little bit better balance, so that I can stay under balance and finish my swing going forward. Okay, as we continue to go forward, we're going to see just a little bit of recoil falling back on your heels, falling back here and falling back here. So we'd just like to see a little bit better transfer that's going to allow for that. All right, so as we go forward, a drill that I'd like for you to do, I'd like you to get on a tee. Set that tee on the outer half of the plate, even with this front foot, this stride foot, okay? But it's going to be on the outer half of the plate. I'm going to get into my loaded position, heels down into the ground. I'm going to drive my back knee into that front leg, and then I'm going to drop my elbow down into that slot so that my shoulder, elbow, and hip are in alignment. And then from there, I'm going to start to drive my backside more into the front side, and my hands will work forward, but that elbow will stop right in that area right there. So I'm releasing the bat, I'm maximizing my bat speed through contact, and this ball, if done correctly, this ball should fly on a line drive through the right side of the cage, or if you're doing it on a field, it should go through a line drive through the second baseman. So I think that drill will really help you. I want to thank you for